Hello, the internet. Let's talk about Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl is considered to be the Dr. Seuss of the UK. As like with the dog, Dahl would create beloved children's books with quirky drawings and with a surprising dark side to them. In the case of Dahl, his children's books would be a mix of both lighthearted whimsy and dark and morbidism. And as such, many filmmakers have adapted his works into feature films. And the one I'm talking about is the 1996 cult favorite Matilda, directed by and starring Danny DeVito with his company Jersey Films. Matilda Wormwood is a little girl who is quite intelligent her age, as she spends her time reading books. However, her parents are just the worst, as both of them are self-absorbed and extremely neglectful of their girl. One day, Matilda gets admitted to Cruncham Hall Elementary, run by the maniacal Agatha Trunchbull, a woman who despises of children and is borderline insane. Fortunately, her teacher, Miss Honey, is very sweet and kind. Suddenly, Matilda starts to develop telekinesis and now must train her powers in order to take down the Trunchbull. Now, on the surface, this is a film that I should really hate. It's a film featuring a child being bullied by her peers and even principal. Now, on the surface, this would seem like total garbage, right? But in practice, Matilda is actually one of the most charming films I've seen. What makes this film very unique is it manages to be both dark and mean-spirited, but also lighthearted and whimsical at the same time, as the main parts, like with the parents in the Trunchbull, are supposed to play a part of the film's message of finding good in the world, regardless of how crappy it can be at times. Where unlike in something like Chicken Little, another mean kids film, the problem I have with this film is how the film portrays Pikachu in the wrong, even though the town citizens were acting too cruel than they needed to be, and how he needed to prove himself, which is messed up for a kids film. But in Matilda, the film's meanness is meant to showcase the message of making life better for yourself and others. I also like how the film isn't afraid to be dark and intense at times, rather showing the cruelty of Trunchbull or tackle themes like parent neglect and bullying. While some children may not enjoy this film for its darkness, but older children will appreciate it. This film has a bit more of a bite. Appreciate this film has a bit more of a bite in it than your typical kids movie. Heck, some kids will find other pieces of media to be too sweet and boring to watch. But but behind the film's darkness and unpleasant tone, there's a ray of sunshine in all this in the form of Miss Honey and Miss Jennifer Honey. Miss Honey is such a lovely character because she brings so much kindness and heart to Matilda's life, as being one of the few likable adults in this film. She acts like a mother figure for the smart girl, but I like how she's not some token good adult person, as she does have her own tragic story, as being a product of her step on Trunchbull's abuse. Speaking of which, the Trunchbull is an excellent villain, as he's a type you just love to hate because of how horrible and scary she can be. Top off of a strong performance by Pam Ferris, and she makes one of the most memorable kids movie villains ever. But what really makes these characters is the great performances, from Mara Wilson's youthful Matilda to Imbith Daisy's kind and gentle Miss Honey, to Pam Ferris's cruel Trunchbull, to Dan DeVito's delightfully mean-spirited Harry. And it all leads to what I can say is one of the most satisfying endings of all time, where the kids stand up to their abusive principal, and Matilda finds a new home with Miss Honey. Seeing the Trunchbull of Fear is just popcorn worthy to sit through. Now, one complaint of this film is how illogical it can be, like how the Trunchbull has not been caught for the abuse, or how the heck she even manages to become principal in the first place. Dude, this is a Roald Dahl film. Logic doesn't really fully apply, as the point of these stories is to see the heroes beat all odds. That's the point of these stories. To conclude, Danny DeVito's Matilda is both mean but also kind at the same time, as it captures the spirit of Roald Dahl with its clever writing and manages to be both harsh but also charming, excellent performances, and great message of fighting against oppression and harshness. I give it a 9 out of 10. Come see it for yourself. Self or be thrown harshly.